What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tsunami Speaks with your host, Tsunami Jones. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you can, so we can just continue to grow this channel and get it as big as we can. That said, wow, what a Sunday. Um, so I can't be as positive and upbeat as I want to be in this video, but I'm still gonna try. That was a tough game to watch twice. The New York Jets lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 27 to 12. My prediction going into the game was the Jets were going to win. That was one part I got wrong. And then the score was very different than I expected. I expected 24-21. So I was wrong. I was way off. Um, this was a little unexpected on my part, just because I thought this team was ready to take the next step and really prove themselves to be one of the young and upcoming teams in the AFC. Not necessarily a contender, but a team that we could be proud of and have some, stars to be stars on the team and just young players just growing each week and being somewhat competitive. Um, we found out we're not close yet. Probably the most disappointing part of this loss is that there were so many yards left on the field that we didn't take advantage of, even when Garrett Wilson went out. But this team, before I can even say, I mean, we didn't even play any complimentary football in this game, and that's sad because we haven't really done that. To play complimentary football with all three phases. Week one, the defense did a better job than the other two phases. Special teams was kind of sorry. Week one, special teams, and week two was fantastic. Offense was good, but defense was really poor. So fast forward to this week, it was kind of a reprise of week one, I would say. Um, I don't know why all phases just can't play well at the same damn time, man. I don't understand it. I know part of that is what you can expect with a young team. Um, but I expected some discipline as well, and we're not seeing that. Not yet with this team. The offense didn't even have a pulse when Garrett Wilson got hurt and was out of the game. I'm so thankful he came back in the game, but I don't understand it. But let's revisit my keys to the win. The first key that I had was for us to limit turnovers. If you watched the game, you know that did not happen. We had 4 turnovers to their 1 turnover. 2 fumbles, 2 picks. It's just unacceptable. It can't happen. And all of it came from Flacco, which is probably the most surprising part going in. The Bengals really had a good defense, and I knew that going into the game. Both teams they played between week one and week two. I know they played the Cowboys week two. Week one was the Steelers. I mean, they've held them all to, they did pretty good complimentary football on their side or just great defense on their sides. But because of the opponents, I think we all may have misjudged a little bit their defense. And I guess we were the great equalizer in their defense coming back to to life here. Um, Key two was we needed to win the time of possession game. We did not. Last year we held the ball 36 minutes and 20 seconds, and the Bengals had it 23:40 seconds. This Sunday was flipped. We had the ball 27 minutes and 36 seconds, and they had it 32 minutes and 24 seconds. As I said before, we had to win that. That was going to be a major component of us winning this game, and it hurt us. Those turnovers basically were the result of us having not having the ball very long because we just kept doing that. But running game wasn't really used a ton in the first half. It was there. I will say this, and I said this last week. I do understand that if we get behind by large margins like we did in this game, that it's going to be hard to continue to run the ball because we have to score. We have to score fast. But that said, we need the run game to be more involved. Um, on the contrary, the third key I had was for us to continue to stop the run. We actually did that. I was very pleased. We held Mixon to 24 yards, and P. Ryan gashed us a little bit for 47 yards off of 9 carries. 69 yards though total for rushing for the team. I'm gonna still give a bunch of credit to the Jets defense for doing their job there. Um, it even though I don't want it to go unnoticed, even though we still resulted in an L. My other key was to the defense needed to keep the quarterback on the ground. We needed to get to Burrow and get to him continuously and hard. That did not happen. We didn't get to him enough. Um, Especially in the first half. He had time. We were trying, but it's been what we've been seeing. We'll get in the pocket with him, but if it's an athletic quarterback like a Burrow or even Brissett to a lesser extent, they're able to manipulate the pocket, use their legs a little bit, and make a big play. It happened in the first touchdown that they scored. Burrow got out of the pocket and threw the ball to Pirine, and that was one that we could have had a sack there. It's hurtful. But yeah, that was an obvious example. And then even have that JFM push. We actually had them down at one point there. Basically, Burrow threw the ball. It was incomplete, but because JFM did that shove at the last minute, as soon as Burrow, like right after Burrow had let ball go, and it was unnecessary, we got a unnecessary roughness penalty, and that actually resulted in a touchdown. I mean, I can't say it was JFM's fault um, that Whitehead missed that tackle that resulted in the Boyd touchdown, but that was a 3 and out drive. We had them undisciplined. Um, my other key was that the defense needs to defend the screen better. It didn't kill us this time, so I'm gonna give another kudos to the defense there. There were a few thrown to P. Ryan and Mixon, but he did a much better job in handling those. That's one positive takeaway I had. I think even DJ Reed had a nice tackle. That's my guy right there. I think I'm mixing in the backfield. So that was pretty sick. Offensive creativity. This wasn't LaFleur's best game, that's for sure. We didn't incorporate our tight ends until the second half. Not sure if that was by the design or if that was on Flacco. Can't really tell you. Not quite sure of the progressions that he has in each throw, but we also didn't do too many trick plays, which I'm not saying we have to do every game because obviously it's not a trick play if you do it every game. So I get the logic there. I just expected a little bit more creativity. I think once Garrett Wilson went out, we got stoic in offensive play calling aspect, and we're just going to throw it to Brees Hall again. Flacco or LaFleur, don't know, but I'm sure he wasn't the first guy in the progression. So yeah. And one thing I just have to before I even get to that one other key I had was I said the offensive line needs to hold up for Flacco. Well, that didn't happen. And Flacco made us pay in the worst way. George Fant gave up 2 sacks. Connor McGovern and Vera Tucker, my guy, they both gave up a sack each. Even when they took Fant out of the game and Connor McDermott was placed into the game, he gave up a sack. It was wild. But Flacco held the ball too long. He just kept making bad decisions with each and every pass. The interception he threw to Barrios was just unfathomable. Whoa, what's he throwing to? Well, I knew he was throwing to Barrios, but there were 3 defenders around him. 3. Barrios is 5'9". I mean, I don't know if he thought that Barrios was just gonna had Garrett Wilson's hops, got him confused. Maybe Braxton Barrios has a vertical that we haven't seen before. He didn't utilize it on that play. Just saying. And I'm a fan of Barrios, man. But okay. But anyway, that's all on Flacco. Poor decision making on that all the way around. But if you don't protect that guy, this is what happens. He gets happy feet. He gets nervous, seeing some stuff. Um, but yeah. But the good news is Zach coming back supposedly here. So if we get some good news on Wednesday, we don't have to see that foolishness anymore. Silver lining. Let's go, Zach Wilson. That's why I'm wearing the jersey to, help bring that good luck, those good vibes into the locker room here. But it wasn't really a key, but one thing I really wanted to say before I got into the players that we were watching in this game, JFM and Corey Davis's penalties were abominable, and they destroyed drives on both sides of the ball. I know I already mentioned JFM one, but I wanted to say it again. That resulted in a touchdown. Just killed us. Um, the Corey Davis one, I didn't even know about until they showed a replay. I saw it on Twitter today. Wow. So we're gonna grab Eli Apple's his face mask because we're mad. Come on, Corey Davis. You're a vet. You're a vet. Like you are one of the leaders in the locker room." I was shocked. I don't care what Eli Apple said to him. That's just it's ridiculous. And that killed that drive. And we were actually doing pretty well at that point. Might have resulted in a touchdown. I can't guarantee that with the way the game was going, but football is a game of runs too and momentum. We were actually having some positive momentum in that drive. That was like in the third or fourth quarter. It was early. Uh or late in the game rather. Just crazy and disappointed. And I want to say that I need Salah to do more than just admonish them in the pros conference. I was glad he did bring both of those up. That's good. But I need him to do something on the field. You know, the player will understand it if you sit them, bench them, make them feel it. You know, I didn't even see him get in the face of any players. Not that I really look for that kind of stuff, but need to see more fire from Salah. That's not the guy I expect. And for him to just be like, oh, okay, next play. Okay, need to see more. Maybe Salah did gave him both talking tos in the locker room. Maybe. We'll see. But I want to see more from Salah in that aspect. I think some of our players are pretty undisciplined, and that's a coach thing. And I'm not on the let's fire the coach after 2 games. Just not there. Sorry. Even though he was the coach last year too. Still, I got to get more rope than that before I have my pitchfork out. The pitchfork is in the background there, but I'm not ready to start, setting fire to it and do all that stuff. I'm not there yet, but I'm watching Salah for sure. Um, Now as far as the players to watch that I, highlighted last show, Max Mitchell. Great game, bro. Great game. Proud of you. He rated the highest of all our offensive linemen with 65.1. He's clearly coming into his own each week. This is by far his best week. And again, there was pass rushers on both sides with Hendrickson and Hubbard. So great job by him. And this couldn't have happened at a better time. Impressive for a fourth round pick, a 2022 fourth round pick. No real experience. He was great in college, though. I think he had like the highest grade for an offensive lineman in college. So kudos to us, by taking that chance in the fourth round. But still, for him to do this so quickly, awesome. I think we might have the right tackle of the future for us, and we can use it considering we've had some crappy luck lately. I'm still a Mekhi Becton believer. Sorry, I gotta represent my guy. Um, I think he still has a path to be the starting left tackle next year. But that said, we do have some issues with offensive line right now. But moving on, Elijah Moore. Tough for him to have the huge game that I was forecasting when he wasn't as targeted as he should have been. And when he was targeted, he was double and triple covered. I rewatched this game tonight. And while I was rewatching, I just couldn't believe it. Some of the plays that he threw the ball to him. And yet, other plays when we're targeting Brees Hall, Elijah Moore is over there just open. Mm. That said, he totaled 4 catches, 9 targets. So I know that he was targeted a bit, but you have to consider Garrett Wilson was out for a little while, and he really wasn't targeted during that time. It seemed like Elijah Moore got the ball later. Um, but still, I expect more from him. He's still number one wide receiver. It did look like he did draw Wouzier as their number one corner. So I was right about that, which is another reason why the whole Garrett Wilson thing getting hurt. Ooh, I think he would have ate Eli Apple if he were healthy. But that's not how it went. Brees Hall and Michael Carter was basically who I had as far as players to watch because I couldn't decide between those two who was going to be the uh, more used player. It looks like the team made a decision. They said it's going to be Brees or Flacco made a decision. Flacco targeted Brees 11 times in the passing game. Brees caught 6 of them. He had a few drops. Some of them were killers. But running back, and a rookie. Not too angry at him, considering like I mentioned, we had other open guys that we could have went to. We had a drive in the fourth quarter where we targeted Brees 4 out of 5 times. That cannot happen. Cannot happen. Not Brees, unless Brees is downfield for 20 yards or something, but it's not really going to be a thing. I wish we actually would have ran the ball through Brees more often as opposed to throwing it to him. But that's not what ended up happening here. Elijah Moore and Conklin were open a lot. especially when I watched the game a second time. I was like, wait a minute. Conklin definitely could have been targeted more. Garrett Wilson was open as well, but that boy's always open. In the second half, when he was out there, he was still open, but you could tell he was laboring a little bit from that rib injury. I'm glad he was able to come back from that shot in the ribs that he got from Jesse Bates. I'm still mad at him. And Jesse Bates is a guy I really wanted on this team before, so now I'm kind of salty. But don't hurt my guy again. But I'm glad Garrett came back in. So the boys got some heart for sure. The guys that I targeted to highlight on the Jets, I was saying Lawson and Uzama, and I said, both those guys. Well, not the game that I expected. This was not the revenge game. No revenge, no revenge. It was almost a happy game, and that's not happy in a good way. Stat for Lawson, 1 pressure. Stat for Uzama, 1 catch, 1 target. Uzama clearly was underused. Now, part of that might have been maybe the hamstring. He had a little bit of tightness in it. He didn't get a bunch of snaps in this game at all. I think it was like 20 some. So that's not really a lot. And obviously, he was blocking the majority of those. But still, disappointing, underwhelming. I'm hoping that Lawson is still coming, peeling off the cobweb, so to speak, off of himself, considering he was injured the entire season last year. And it's not like he got a bunch of snaps in the preseason. So I think he's still playing himself, not physically into shape, but mentally into shape, thinking that's where it is with him. But we really needed him in this game. We needed him to blow up, especially against the Bengals. So I'm disappointed. I'm hurt for both those players. Still love them both, but we need more safeties. All right, gotta start here before y'all come at me. Jordan Whitehead actually wasn't as bad. He wasn't as bad. He had that terrible missed fumble. I mean, missed tackle on Boyd and cost us a touchdown. So horrible play, and I get that. But he was bad. He was pretty good. I'm sorry, not bad. He was pretty good the rest of the game. He actually graded out 69.5 in his coverage per PFF. And when you rewatch the game, and again, you take that one play out of your mind, you see he actually did pretty well. He had a pass breakup too. Wish he would have picked the dude off, but he didn't have the best angle at it. And I think the wide receiver was either Higgins or Boyd. It wasn't Chase. And so Jordan Whitehead was trying to pick it off, and the wide receiver deflected the ball from him. It's like they switch positions. So it was kind of interesting. But that said, Jordan was solid, but that touchdown play can't happen. Just make the freaking tackle. uh, but Joyner though, that's the guy I've been kind of on, and he's still terrible. He was the worst on the team in coverage per PFF with a 49.4 grade. And then he had that terrible damn penalty that he did on Higgins, and he concussed Higgins. I don't know how Higgins came back in the game after concussion, but remember a time we didn't do that. But far be it from me to make those referee calls. All right, moving on to the Browns quickly. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is him. He is. He was surgical in the first half. Once the defense found itself somewhat in the second half, he started slowing down, which kind of further proves that the first half just killed us. But he made some fantastic throws early. There was a pass to Higgins that blew my mind, where he just put it only where Higgins could get it. Nailed it. Actually, that might have been the play where Joyner hit him. It was a wonderful pass. Sauce was right there too. It's a shame. Anyway, so I'm still impressed with him. Now that we don't have to play them anymore, I hope they play well. But anyway, Trey Hendrickson. I was worried about this guy killing us, and he did. He was a menace on Sunday. He had 3 sacks and 4 hurries. He was in Joe Flacco's lap all afternoon. And it was shameful. He graded out with a 94.2 pass rush score in PFF. Damn, man. After having 55.4 against the Cowboys the week before, he came out angry. He came out angry. He saw this offensive line and said, I'm going to eat. And he did. And I will say this, as great of a player as he is, I don't attribute all that damage to just him being awesome. I attribute it to George Fant. He played like a turnstile in the subway. Like, like that was terrible. I don't know, but we all know he's been dealing with this knee injury. He's had it since training camp, but it looks like it's not healing. It looks like it's getting progressively worse. So this is a major problem for this team to figure out for him. I mean, they took him out and put Connor McGovern in, and then McGovern gave up a sack, like I said earlier. Mm, I don't want McGovern to start at left tackle this week. I'd rather George Fant be bad than Connor McDermott be awful. Feel me? Like, nah. Anyway, and lastly, Jamar Chase. I was worried about him. He actually didn't do as much damage. Sauce, Sauce did a good job defending him. There was a couple of plays where you could tell Chase was affected by it. He was affected by Sauce. He got in his head a little bit. So we did a pretty good job defending him. And I'll give DJ Reed some credit too, because again, it wasn't just Sauce on him the entire game. You know how these guys play zone. Um, and so, of course, I got to go to my game ball section here. No game ball this week. I can't give it to it. A, we didn't win, and B, no one single-handedly got us close. So I can't do that. But I'm going to shout out our corners, Sauce and Reed. They both look great this game. Sauce allowed 2 catches for 50 yards and had 2 pass breakups on 4 targets, and he had a 70.6 scored per PFF first coverage. Not bad. Reed was targeted 5 times, gave up 2 catches for 40 yards and a 63.1 coverage grade per PFF. Still, pretty damn good. It's just we gave up plays via Michael Carter II. He didn't play as well. And um, the safeties. I do want to give an honorable mention to Quincy Williams, Quinnen's big brother. Quinnen's big brother stepped up. It's a shame he got hurt. He was a heat-seeking missile before he got hurt. He had 7 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And I think that fumble that Mosley picked up, I think it was from Quincy's hit. Think so. But anyway, that injury was a little scary seeing him come off the field like that. It looked like he was really hurting. More on that in a second. So that's just kind of what I saw in the game. Some quick odds and ends. The Jets, Bills, and Patriots lost on Sunday. So at least we're not by ourselves. Anytime the Patriots take an L, it's a beautiful day, okay? The Bills took a crazy loss against Miami. That game was wild. So anyway, we didn't lose too much ground in that. Patriots also lost Mac Jones for a while with a high ankle sprain. And they said she could be 4 to 6 weeks. The number keeps changing. I don't even know if the Patriots announced it per se. That's just what I read off Twitter. But their starters out, and they're going to be playing with Brian Hoyer. So more to come with that and how we compete with the Patriots. Might be interesting for division. Some good news: the Jets signed Mike Remmers, offensive tackle. He played for the Bengals last year. Or the Chiefs, one of those teams that wear red. I think it was the Bengals. Anyway, so that'll help with our tackle depth, especially with, like I mentioned, George Fant's issues. So, and it was looking dire after McDermott came back in there. Ugh. I don't mind McDermott being out there catching touchdowns in the red zone. You can have him for that, but when it comes to blocking, all right. Quincy Williams, like I mentioned earlier, he is not out for the season. It looked pretty rough when he got hurt. He has a high ankle sprain as well. Um, those can linger, so it's probably I know Salah said it would be week to week. That's good. Those can kind of linger a little bit, like I was mentioning for Mac Jones, 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm thinking it might be around then. Buys in what, 4 weeks? Bet that we wait till after the buy. But he could shock me and heal up faster. We'll see. I mean, Quincy's game is based off athleticism, so I would like him to be a little on the healthier side because if he's not, he might become more of a liability in coverage until he's healthy. That's just my opinion because he's so side to side and athletic as hell. Um, George Fant, like I mentioned earlier, he's still struggling with that knee. And this is the surgically repaired knee too. So something to be a little worried about. They say he may miss Sunday depending on how his knee responds. Get well soon, George. Get well soon. I hope you don't practice the whole entire week and we just play you on Sunday and then we'll go from there. I want Zach to have as best an offensive line as he can when he comes back game 1. Dwayne Brown is eligible to return next week, so week 5. So he probably won't play week 5 because that'll be like his first time practicing since that injury. I would be surprised, but I don't know. Maybe we'll have some good luck there and he plays week 5 or week 6. Either way, might be good for us to swap Fant for Dwayne Brown anyway, at least until he heals up. And the last piece of, odds and ends here, Zach Wilson, my guy, my guy. Can't even pull up the jersey. Yes, my guy, number 2. He should be back this Sunday against the Steelers. Provided the doctors clear him on Wednesday. He's been looking great in 7-on-7s, and the videos that I've seen and other reporters have seen, they've all kind of said the same thing. And per Salah, he's been getting extra work on the 7-on-7s with the third string. Um, they call it apparently some cute little thing called the flight school. I'm good with it. Take flight, bro, young boy. Take flight because we need you on Sunday. He's the most important player at this point, and if we have him and his athleticism behind center as opposed to statuesque Joe Flacco, that can really help this offense, especially with the offensive line not really being where they need to be yet. So Zach can help them, and we need that. We need that mobility. We need a player who can protect himself as well as, get out of harm and just make those rollout plays. You got to think about LaFleur's playbook, all the things that we couldn't do because of just Zach Flacco. Wow. Joe Flacco's limitations. So I'm excited. I'm really excited actually because we've seen so much from Garrett Wilson. We've seen so much from Conklin. He had a good game today or a good game Sunday. And seeing him have some positive plays really, brought some excitement to me. It was tough to rewatch that game, but I actually came away less angry than I expected. There were positives that happened. The Jets gave up a few stupid damn plays and another miscommunication, but they eliminate that. That game is a lot closer. And if we have a quarterback who throws better passes and doesn't get hit back there and start throwing to your mom and my mom, you know, in the in the stands, it's a big difference. So I think we have things to look forward to here. Um, so real quick, the results of my of my bets. Jets didn't cover. I y'all already know. And they weren't even close to the teaser I had them in. I had them like by 11 or 12 or something like that. 11 and a half is what I had. And they didn't even honor my teaser. So they destroyed my teaser bet that I nailed every other game. It is what it is. Texans didn't cover either. The 2.5 points I had them at. Lions did cover. Let's go. And so I did pretty well with that. I actually did pretty well on all the bets except for those two that I had on the side. So maybe in the weeks to come, if I continuously start doing better, I'll give you more than just 3 to look at. Because I only tell you the 3 that I feel really good about. The other ones are kind of Hail Marys, so to speak. Before I end this video, I wanted to say this again. I still believe in this team, and I still believe in this coach. It is a 17-game season. I don't give up on week 2 or week 3 for that matter. Forgot what week we were in. Things look gloomy right now. I know a lot of fans are really down just because of how inept we looked for a few quarters in this game, and I understand it. It was hard to watch. And if I was in the stadium watching the game, that would hurt it. That would have hurt me too. But here's where I'm at. We're an extremely young team. Even our veterans are really young. Each week we're seeing our youngest players make the biggest plays. Talked about Sauce and his 2 pass breakups. Talked about Garrett Wilson a little bit, even though he didn't have anything super flashy in this game, except maybe the first couple of plays. He had a couple really good plays. He got hurt. He looked fantastic last week. Brees Hall is getting more utilized. You can tell he has that explosiveness. You can see that home run potential, so to speak, as they mentioned. Who else? Jermaine Johnson was looking pretty good every time I see him out there. He needs to get more snaps. Who else? Just players like that. And then, Elijah Moore didn't blow up, but he still looks good. Like we're seeing that our young draft picks, our young hopeful cornerstones are doing what they need to do. We need our vets, our young vets to perform. We need to put it all together and do complementary football like I mentioned. Can we have a game where offense and defense and special team all falls out? If we do, we're a damn good team. Y'all can say you can see that. You can see that watching the games. But we have to do it, and it remains to be seen. But week 4 just started. We play the Steelers. We win that game. We're 2-2. Isn't that what we wanted? And isn't that what we expected going into the season? 2-2. Weren't we scared about this first month being all against AFC North games? I think we need to relax a little bit. Our coach, but I will give you this. Our coaching staff has to step up, and Sala needs to make his coordinators accountable, starting with Ulbrich. I'm seeing a lack of creativity defensively. We seem married to the scheme. We seem married to our defensive line, getting this crazy rotation that we're doing with them. I mean, as a Knicks fan, I was tired of Tibbs's rotations last year. I shouldn't have to deal with the same shenanigans in football. Are you kidding me? I want Jermaine Johnson to play like I want Cam Reddish to play. Come on, let's play. Let's get our best guys in there. I don't care for the younger ones. So yeah, that would be my contention with Ulbrich. Lafleur, he's hit or miss. I don't want him to go anywhere. I still think he's a good offense coordinator. But yeah, Quinnen Williams needs to get some more snaps. Jermaine Johnson has to get more snaps. Carl Lawson needs to get more snaps. He didn't even get a ton of snaps in this past game because of the rotation. And I need to see less Rankins, please. But good job on the sack Rankins. I'll still give you your credit. And we also need to see more adjustments at halftime. We're down at halftime almost every game, and I'm not seeing a big change in game plan in the second half of games, other than very subtle things that anyone could think of. Like I mentioned, oh, we're going to use Conklin in the second half. Very good. That's not what I'm expecting. So I need to see more from our coordinators. I need to see more fire from Salah in these pressers. Some of these pressers have been a little scary. I'm going to grade them on a curve, and I'm not going to get too high or too low on what Salah says on Mondays, even with some of the silliness that I've heard today. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. On to Pittsburgh. Let's get a W there. There's no TJ Watt. Zach comes back. Watch. This team will change. To quote Salah, everything's going to flip real quick, real soon. All right. So enough positivity from me on the week 4. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you can, especially if you want a little dose of optimism at the end. I think we got this going forward. We'll flip. It'll all flip, but we'll see. Let's go Jets. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Have a good one.